I found a drawing of Ragnaros I made as a kid, a drawing that reminded me why I play classic WoW, a drawing that pushed me to become what younger me was never able to, a drawing that showed me just how rare second chances are and how lucky I am to be able to take a hold of one now. Across burnt bridges I tread to the Vermilion Saffron Realm one final time, for this is the story of how I became Kosher, the Firelord. I was leveling my gnome warlock on a blocky laptop to the tune of cicadas and sun showers when, while crossing through Red Ridge Mountains, I saw him, a paladin in full raid gear. My jaw dropped. To me, this was the coolest armor I had ever seen.
Whoa there, traveler. Why do your eyes wander so?
Huh? Sorry, I was looking at your armor. Speaking of which, how do you get that armor?
Play the game.
This struck me as I was currently playing the game. What could he possibly mean by this? But before I could inquire any further, the mysterious Holy Knight said to me,
Alright, look, level up, dude. Do Firelands? That's literally all. Alright, I gotta go. Peace. I believe in you, little dude.
He rode off, and ignorantly, I questioned the empty air. What the hell is Firelands? Without an answer, I decided to seek it out for myself. And though I was slow at leveling, I missed out on doing Firelands while it was the current raid. Now, I have myself a second chance at getting some of that cool flaming armor I saw all that time ago. And second chances is what classic WoW is all about, right? Greetings ladies and everybody else, and welcome to the Firelands finale. My sincerest apologies it took so long to make these Cataclysm videos. I got in a car accident. The Grim Reaper came to me and was so intimidated that he stayed on his horse and fucked off, so, you know, just usual cozy capers. Anyways, where did I leave off? Oh! Right. On the last episode, I severed my connection to the old gods, realized where my passion laid, and was demoted in my guild, which prompted many Herculean tasks to regain membership, such as dismantling 2 troll empires, selling tens of thousands of gold worth of tarot readings, accidentally buying a GF, and, of course, murdering a chef in his own home, which was the task that gave me that sweet promotion. That's what's up when you're in a cyber cartel and you're the Kingslayer. Not sorry. Anyways, enough about my alleged past offenses, let's talk about my Firelands felonies. It goes without saying that as a member of Synergy now, I could safely assume that I would be able to count on them when the biggest raid of Cataclysm Classic released. One problem.
Preachy quit, Fallen quit, everyone's quitting or leaving. I don't see us reaching Deathwing, so what's the point? You know what I'm saying?
It has been many months since my last escapade, and now I am the only member of Synergy. How the mighty have fallen. No pun intended. On the bright side, I guess that kind of makes me the guild leader, huh? But on the dark side, that would mean that I am, essentially, guildless. A fate worse than death in classic WoW. And I would know I am undead. Anyways, guild relations aside, let's talk about Firelands, the epic 7-boss endgame raid where you act like the Roman Emperor Caligula on a bad day, and instead of going to war with the ocean, you go to war with the element of fire itself, except you have an actual chance of winning. Here, you face off against everything from massive flaming spiders to phoenixes and eventually the elemental lord of fire himself. But, at least on my server, what I found to be the case is that Firelands groups are very exclusive. Especially if you're guildless, and especially ones that secure any of the fights in Heroic. Everybody already has their friends and they're not looking to make any new ones. It's like trying to get into a Freemason butler circle jerk in Dubai. Another thing to note is the existence of the legendary staff Dragonwrath, a staff that's best in slot in every way imaginable, and can literally turn you into a fucking dragon. Like, this staff requires an arduous many-week-long quest line, full of raid logging, special bosses, expensive embers, and lots of drama, seeing that 24 people have to all band together for weeks on end to help one single person get this staff, all within the confines of Firelands. And surprise party, do you know what class was chasing this legendary staff the most? I'll give you 5 seconds to guess. Just kidding, it's mages. Of course it's mages. What a major surprise. It's pun. And I'm not sure if you know this, but I am a cringe little mage.
You are a cringe mage, Cozy. You should re-roll warrior.
You're right. Mysterious rogue. Whatever will I do? I'll never get into a group for Firelands. Huh? Esfand?
Be the mage you wish to see in this world.
Wow. I'm gonna do that. You're right. I shouldn't give up just because I'm a mage. I came this far, right? Why stop now? Things are gonna look up. Somehow, some way, I'll find a group for Firelands. Thanks, Esfand. Oh, also, sorry for drowning you.
Asshole.
I think I deserve that. So, to recap, the only thing that I want is to get one full clear of Firelands, get some of that cool flaming armor that I saw when I was younger, and call it a day. But it really doesn't look like that's gonna happen, as I am essentially guildless now, which makes finding groups for anything extremely difficult. Firelands groups are unreasonably exclusive on my server, due to low player count, or the anniversary realms, or whatever you want to chalk it up to. I have no logs of Firelands because I haven't fucking done it, significantly reducing my chances of getting invited to any group, and I'm playing the class that is least likely to get accepted, but I have to be the mage that I want to see in the world, right? But just as I went back to the drawing board to come up with some sort of idea, an ex-Synergy member named Tantrum, who really liked my videos, was under the assumption that I was eventually going to make one about Firelands, which was correct. You're fucking watching it. Reached out to me and extended an invite for their exclusive guild run of Firelands. I, of course, took this. What Tantrum did next was lie to their guildmaster, telling him I was well-versed in Firelands and knew the fights quite well, which prompted him to kick one of the mages to make room for me.
Fuck out of here.
And as if things couldn't get even more interesting, Tantrum used their birthday, which lined up with the raid date, as a means to an end to get me invited. This is what happens when you have a really bangin' social capital and you're the Kingslayer. Not sorry. I was socketed into the raid group and given a week to study up and learn everything I could about Heroic Firelands. And you know how I spent that week? You think I watched guides or read up on my rotation to get a good parse? Fuck no. A guide? Do I look lost to you? I spent that week doing fuck all, and on the day of the raid, on only 2 hours of sleep by the way, I was awoken by a panicked Tantrum who didn't seem all too thrilled that I didn't know the fights. But of course I don't. You're bringing a jester to a tourney. What do you expect?
Like, right, of course you wouldn't. But you wouldn't be Cozy the Kingslayer if you, came prepared, really.
Exactly. I should have played TBC, because that's Illidan's whole bit. I would have fit right in.
Do you have Foji downloaded?
Is that an add-on? No.
How much do you know about this?
I know there's
That's okay.
7 bosses.
This is gonna be real special.
There's 25 people, so if one person doesn't really...
No.
What's up? It's fine.
I would love to say that that's true. Unfortunately, there are mechanics.
Would you like rundown of each boss.
Well, is there anything that's like absolutely essential that if I don't know this, then it's Armageddon?
Pretty much just don't stand in shit. There's a chance that a drone will, his armor will focus on you, but the pillars that are close to you will go into the
Alright. So, don't stand in fire. And thus, with newfounded knowledge on the quote-unquote mechanics of Firelands, I flew off on my nether drake to the portal for Mount Hyjal. Tantrum would get their desired birthday gift of starring in a Firelands video, and I would get my childhood dream of having Firelands armor. Everything was going according to plan. Don't touch that mouse. Let's finally enter the cleverly named Firelands. Yeah, I sure hope it does. What you are seeing here is a clusterfuck patchwork abomination of the guilds Press Your Buttons and Chonk. Oh yeah, and Synergy. Me, hi, hello, Synergy's guildmaster here, don't mind me. Anyways, I gazed out at the many goofy names, some of which I had run into previously, like Raven or Midnight, and new names that stuck out like a dead jellyfish in a field. Like there was a hunter named Hawk with a pet named Tua, plus a holy paladin named Low-Key Vibe, and the guildmaster's name of Chonk was Soy Boy Roy. This is a fucking godsend group. We are dying on trash mobs. I fucking love it here. Moving our offense into the elemental realm, we demolished the flaming titans and roaming packs of corrupted creatures sworn to defend Ragnaros at all costs, while the guild talked over one of the raid members' sudden absences, which he claimed was due to a cell phone repairman coming to his house. Yeah, right. We make our way up the twisting, cindery halls, traced with webs and ember-ridden arachnids, to be met face to face with the first boss. Boss 1, Beth'tilac. You know how in Dark Souls you get through Blighttown, then afterwards you fight the Chaos Queen Quelaag, who's this hot woman with big boobies, who's just kinda 3/4 big fiery spider of death and destruction? Ugh, she's a 10, but she's also a fucking spider. That's what Beth'tilac reminds me of, except without the titties, so what's the fucking point? She's a boss with some things to do, so already that's raising the bar in terms of Firelands. Essentially, the fight is split into two exceptionally difficult phases. When it begins, Beth'tilac rises from the ground to the ceiling of her arena, where a few players have to grab onto webs and follow. Up there, they will slowly chip away at her health while avoiding holes and explosions, while the rest of the raid kills more ads than uBlock Origin, amped up on a steroids and desoxin smoothie. Ah, delectable. After she exhausts her energy 3 times, the lame Quelaag comes down and we go one-on-one with her. Or 25 and 1 with her. I've already made this joke, fuck you. Beth'tilac fucking hates tanks. She was there in Tiananmen Square. She cannot stand them. So most of the time that she's fixating the tanks, she's turning them into a fucking bomb. The healers need to be on their A game, or their B game, I'm not gonna judge. You know the famous Uberdanger quote where WoW is just standing and hitting? That is all this is. I'm so sick of being the best. I weep that no one will ever match my level. I'm like Alexander the Great. We tread onwards once Quelaag is defeated and our absent raid member who had a cell phone repairman show up to his house returns.
Well, I'm alive.
Oh, thank God.
How's the hooker?
Worried.
How was it? His name was
I'm gonna go turn his name. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Next up is a detour that I wasn't expecting one bit. We had to head up a fuck-off ramp and through a mysterious portal that led to a secret boss that one of the many mages needed for the staff questline. But due to this boss being so out of the way and not an actual part of the day-to-day raid, I'm gonna call it Boss 1.7. Why not 1.5? Subscribe. Boss 1.7, Volcanus. The fight begins with a number of mobs that need to be mowed down and some surgeon precision needs to be applied to dispelling root effects at the right time. Otherwise...
Wait, no, motherfuckers, why?
Also, a pretty basic ice block pull has to be done to start the fight. A tactic literally used since Molten fucking Core, but somehow, someway, having a mage run in an ice block is too complex for some people.
Now we gotta kill him. We gotta get garages in the back. Yeah, it's gonna be
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
I do be pumping though. Anyways, once everyone is able to rub one out for their feudal lord and things calm down a bit, we get to Volcanus, a fire elemental that's scaled up to seem intimidating. Ooh, I'm so I'm so scared. This guy's bit is that there's fire and you don't stand in it. Other than that, you do damage to the boss. I'm starting to get really disappointed. When Tantrum said,
Unfortunately, their mechanics.
I was sort of hoping for, like, the bosses to have mechanics, not for the only tangible challenge in this raid being the players that I'm with, but that's what happens in good old classic World of Warcraft. Can I get a hell yes in the comments? We vanquish Volcanus, whose name is half anus, by the way, lol, and we triumphantly make our way to the next boss. Boss 2, Shannox. Firstly, watch this strat I do.
Anyways, it'll be okay. Then we can get in position. Get a full rebuff.
That wasn't me. Anyways, fuck it, Shannox, the next boss. This is the Huntsman. No, not that one. He is very out of place. He has a southern-ass accent and 2 dogs who rip your shit up and call you mean things in their mind, but joke's on them. I can imagine whatever I want, and I am imagining a terrible fate for them. Because of the fact that I fell asleep in my chair, I didn't record the boss fight, but luckily, somebody in the guild was live streaming the raid to their Twitch, so I snagged a clip of it. Give them a follow for saving this part of the video and capturing my master gamer move in 4K. Shannox is goofy, and he has 2 dogs. You have to avoid standing on traps. Shannox's dog, Rageface, will attack random players over and over again for no fucking reason. The dogs don't die, so you sort of just kite them around into the traps while avoiding Shannox's massive fucking spear. So, to simplify that, we don't stand in fire, attack ads, and hurt the boss. Wow, that's... Phew, this is harder than ICC. Somehow, against all odds, we did it. We defeated Shannox, and I have no clue how. Say grats in the comments right now. Whatever, I'm swag. We trek our way up a hill that has rings on it that we have to avoid. Then it's on to the next boss. Boss 3, Lord Rhyolith. This guy actually has mechanics, holy shit! This is my second favorite boss in Firelands. To make a short story shorter, he's a massive flaming titan, so big that you have to split the raid up and have them fight his legs separately. Whichever leg is being attacked will change the direction he's moving, but he can't go too far off the side or everyone dies. He spawns these volcanoes that he needs to walk over and does a bunch of AoE and shit like that. During one of these AoE attacks, I blinked out of range of every single healer in the fucking world, and I was unfortunately slowly burnt to death by a dot. This is what happens when you're blink happy. I had no mana, there was nothing I could do. Am I doing it right? Do you guys like the relevant drama meme? I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. You guys get it? Anyways, the group continues onward, balancing which leg gets the most damage, switching when they have to, and maneuvering the boss around like an awkward remote control robot. After some ups and downs, Lord Rhyolith is dismantled and left for dead, and nothing of value is lost. Except for me, you know the drill. He's a goofball who falls victim to my dark art alchemy where I give my life to take his, equivalent exchange and all that. Anyways, dark arts would not be needed in the next boss, as while Lord Rhyolith has all the flavor of a bangin' Goku-themed taco truck in El Paso, the next boss has about as much flavor as an $80 pile of fucking noodles that you can't pronounce from some piss-off Italian restaurant, so be warned. Boss 4, Baleroc.
Hey, Cozy the Kingslayer, how you doing?
Whoa, but was that Hank Schrader? Am I losing my mind? Goggles really did a number on me, man. I'm getting anxious now. I'm clearly still hearing things and seeing things. I just need to focus on something and count to 10 and like the snake. I'll focus on the snake.
Yeah, I'm not putting Cozy through that anxiety again, man. Don't worry.
Huh? There's no way we got Uberdanger as the Clonopin snake before GTA 6. Alright, so it seems like I am losing what's left of my mind, but it's okay, it's fine, because canonically, so is Baleroc, a beast of legend who looks straight from Lord of the Rings. Baleroc was a knight who fought in the elemental wars during the ancient history of Azeroth, though now that he is imprisoned in the elemental graveyard that is the Firelands, immortality hasn't been too kind to him, and all semblance of sanity that he once had is slipping through his fingers like grains of sand. If we're doing another Dark Souls type beat, Baleroc is slowly but surely going hollow. So naturally, Ragnaros put him in charge of defending the moat of lava that surrounds the Firelord's Sulfuron Keep, so that he may have one thing to cling to, while all other things that once defined him melt away in the saffron hellscape. that he's doomed to spend eternity in. But he will not be spending eternity here since we arrived to fucking kill him. A rich character with wicked lore who's unfortunately not explored and whose fight is, as Uberdanger has famously phrased, just standing and hitting. The healers have to press their 2 buttons a bunch, which is unfortunate for them, but what's fortunate for us is that we had healers who were pressing buttons and DPS who were pressing buttons. Ain't that wild? Moving from side to side on a countdown so people can grab shards and balance buffs, we absolutely steamrolled Baleroc, and while he may have came once with a roar, he went out limp with a whimper. Hey, but look, my shoulders are on fire now. Boss 5, Alysrazor. Welcome to the only good boss in Firelands. I said it. I fucking said it. First of all, what you do is stand in this little corner, and if you're not stupid, then Darwin will not hand select you and show you the effects of terminal velocity. Anywho, what we did was form a group of all the mages and 1 priest who I forced into role-playing as a mage. Then we grabbed the corrupted phoenix's feathers when she soared overhead, took flight, and circled the boss, doing insane amounts of damage to her as the first phase went by. We have to fly through these rings at the same time to keep the buff, or else we fall down, and falling is not good with a capital Q, because I do not want to be a part of the ground group. Occasionally, a meteor would land on the ground while the people not cool enough to fly with the mages and priest would have to stop killing ads and avoiding fire for a moment to kill the meteor. Alysrazor then drops down and we all have to hide behind the meteor before grabbing the feathers once more and getting back to it. This goes on for a bit before we are all brought to the ground, and Alysrazor has a crazy video gaming moment and creates all these fiery tornadoes that spin all over the place. The wacky thing to do here is to find one, then literally walk in a circle with it so that it cannot hit you. The pathing is so shit here that you can literally just run circles around all of these mechanics and be fine. Once that's done with, Alysrazor gets tired and goes to sleep in the middle of the arena, where we all have to stack up together and lust. I was the hero of our time and used Time Warp, giving us insane haste and inhuman speed as we mowed down the Phoenix, while occasionally not standing in fire and having other people deal with ads. Then the beast was slain, and while the mount didn't drop, cringe, I at least got to experience one fight that has mechanics. And let me say, while it is an S-tier boss for mages and priests, for anyone who's not in the sky, you are literally just avoiding fire and killing ads, while occasionally looking up at the people who get to have fun. Then once the boss falls down, you stand and hit. You cannot make this shit up. Another thing that cannot be made up is the absurdity of the Druid of Flame that we must face off against next, the penultimate boss of Firelands, and final barrier before we enter the Sulfuron Keep and go many on one with Ragnaros himself. Boss 6, Majordomo Staghelm. You guys know this motherfucker's first name is Fandral? The right-hand man of Ragnaros, he guards the front door to the keep, a shape-shifting, fire-bending druid twisted beyond repair. And we are here to put a metaphorical bullet into his head from our philosophical 9mm. Allegedly. His fight is complex. Essentially, you stand still, then run out every few seconds. Then everyone turns into a bomb with a different timer and has to move away before you blow up so you don't, kill all of your friends. At the same time, he turns into different animals, like a scorpion or a cat. And to be honest, I hate to say it, Dakara was a better shapeshifter boss, and this guy is a fake and a fraud. Fandral Staghelm is a miscarriage who lived, but we finished the job a few good years after it started, and he was iced in no time at all. Yet another debate one with violence and egocentrism. I can't wait to give my local pawnbroker a visit. That will be a humanitarian net gain for society because I say so. With Fandral dead, we move into the keep, and I lay eyes on him for the first time. The elemental lord of fire itself. Ragnaros. The Ragnaros I used to draw pictures of. The Ragnaros I used to wish I could get into a group to slay. The Ragnaros that stood right in front of me. The last boss that stood between the usurpation of fire and my bony, greedy hands. Boss 7. Ragnaros. Remember in episode 1 when I went into Blackrock Depths and I gave you a rundown of how the Dark Iron Dwarves accidentally summoned the most powerful elemental being they possibly could? Yeah, this is him. After his defeat in Molten Core, he was banished back to the Firelands where he made an alliance with the Emo Dragon to burn the World Tree Nordrassil down. Oh no! Which would give him full access to the most powerful source of magic in the world. Oh no! However, the Cenarian Circle, a potent group of pro-war druid hippies, led by Hamilton Morris himself, sent a strong offensive against Ragnaros in retaliation at the justly named Molten Front. We had to do dailies there for a month. Oh no! But now that we've pushed through Ragnaros' defenses and slaughtered all of his most powerful lieutenants and guards, there is nothing left but him and us. And he is quite ignorant. In the final hours of the Battle of Hyjal, 25 hardened champions assemble, and the final skirmish begins. Ragnaros, for having such banging lore and the rare ability to stick the landing twice, is drastically pulled down by his mechanics, which consist of many synonymous ways to say don't stand in fire and kill ads. However, the waves of lava that you have to dodge straight from Obsidian Sanctum are a breath of ironically fresh air, and there's one part I dig a ton where everyone has to stack up and then move as a team while devastating meteors follow us from one side of the arena to the next. There's also times where rings appear and you have to move to not stand in that. You get it? Despite being an objectively easy fight with little to no conflict, it's made up for in its spectacle. He also gets a pass because, God, I love fire. Anyways, with absolute grace, a pinch of confidence, 2 hours of sleep, no guides, and newfounded fiery shoulders, we defeated Ragnaros and the achievement appeared on screen. Yes! It's as they say, if cinders fall, does that mean Firelands? After many trials and tribulations, the big man falls into the lava, where he is left to this day. We then looked over the loot. The mount didn't drop. Cringe. One of the many items Ragnaros gracefully dropped was the bow. And, well, you know me.
Kosher, what do you need a bow for?
Oh, that's a great question. And it has a really good answer. You guys know why I was never able to do Firelands over a decade ago? Because while I was leveling my Gnome Warlock, I stopped because I didn't like the Alliance, so I made a Goblin Hunter instead. I was given the nickname Goblin, teasingly IRL, and the Goblins had New York accents and said, "Yo, do I need to say any more?" So I switched sides to the Horde, which I found to be way cooler. The idea of being among a band of misfits who found families and camaraderie in an ugly city in some harsh desert was, and still is, one of the coolest concepts to me. The Horde was where I belonged. But since I was not very talented and certainly didn't contain much intellect, it took me a long time to level up that Goblin Hunter, and a lot of it had to do with my obsession with bows. Sure, while my favorite weapon type of all time are scythes, you must understand that I do love bows. A lot of you watching might know about my Trinity Ghoul addiction in Destiny, which is a pretty old running joke at this point, but I really did love the bows in World of Warcraft, so much so that I would run specific dungeons to try and get every single one of them to fill my bank, way back when. Another goal that was, unfortunately, never accomplished. But now, I had a second chance, and it fell into my lap one fateful evening in the temple of a tall hacker. This act of kneading on the bow, winning it, and kicking the hunter set a path for me. I bore a curse from that day forward. I branded my groups with a dark sign that forced into everyone's psyche that anytime a bow drops in a dungeon or raid, I must knead on it. What, did you guys think I was just taking them for no reason? So, Preachy, what was that again?
Kosher, what do you need a bow for?
Oh, right. I need a bow so that I can make this a character that the child in me could look at with bright eyes and unparalleled enthusiasm. So yes, as a mage, I got the bow from Firelands, and nobody's feelings were hurt. The same cannot be said, however, for when the Crown of Flame dropped, the best in slot head item for shamans. And it was bid off GDKP style. Tantrum let everyone know it was their birthday and that nobody else was allowed to bid on it since it was their birthday, and they were serious. However, a fellow mage named the Pinky decided to bid on it regardless, telling us that if he won, he will delete it.
Okay, you can just keep digging yourself in that hole and you can see how well that goes.
How old are you?
Who?
You. What birthday is it for you?
It's my 26th.
Oh Lord, don't tell him that.
There you go.
You better be giving this to me. Okay. Karma will come and get you.
Don't worry, guys. I gave her a bandage.
The Pinky won the Crown of Flame and promptly deleted it. I love the unparalleled chaos of World of Warcraft. Anyways, I opened trade with Tantrum to try and give them 4,000 gold as compensation, and as a thank you for helping me get into the raid group. They took it, then told me they didn't want it, and since I operate on an interest system, I requested back 5,000 gold. Boom! Another profit made. That's what happens when you're the Kingslayer and the Firelord. Can I get a hell yeah? While I stood there, a new bow in possession, flaming armor, and the Firelands conquered, I let out a sigh of relief. Everyone else chatted amongst themselves, celebrating or handing out loot, but all I could think about were the drawings I'd made of Ragnaros all those years ago. The fantasy that I had of dishing it out with the Firelord himself, that finally came to full fruition. I knew that if I stood next to younger me in Orgrimmar, he would excitedly inspect me, hysterically ask away at how to get this or get that. To have Firelands armor, the Kingslayer title, countless bows in my bank, and the Nether Drakes. With every step I take, I become the mage that I wanted to see in this world more and more. No one else's praise or excitement mattered, only the joy of little me, wherever he may be, lost to time. While the raid group continued on celebrating, I stood still pondering on what's most important to me. The things that I know would make my inner child smile ear to ear, from plastic frostmournes to drawings of Ragnaros. This whole thing has been about second chances. And to my younger self, I did it all for you.